Okay. Thank you so much for everyone for joining. We appreciate it. My name is Jeffrey Kesting, and I'm joined with Mr. Chuck Jenko. We're here with Nobel Biocare, and today we're going to be going over mastering the NobelProcera Full Arch Design utilizing photogrammetry technology and the power of exocad. This is a unique session where Chuck and I will be diving into the latest techniques, technology, and equipment with phase one and phase two surgical procedures with photogrammetry and exocad. So we're going to have a lot of fun, and Chuck's going to get right into that software at the end. We're going to do a little bit of an overview, so you really get to see how this entire workflow works, basically for a digital all-on-4. Now, as I mentioned, exocad, this is a powerful design tool software that we now have available through Nobel Biocare for NobelProcera restorations. And you can get this directly through Nobel Biocare in your local areas from your local representatives. And if you don't know those people, please let us know, and we're happy to get that information for you. But we're very pleased now to have access to native exocad, dental CAD, where we can design all of our NobelProcera restorations, specifically our NobelProcera implant bridge, which we will be focusing on today. With our NobelProcera restorations, they are premium solutions. And they're individualized, implant-based, screw-retained, and we give our customers just a straightforward path to very, very high-quality prosthetic solutions, which we will talk about a little bit later. But we're passionately developing new innovations, looking at new materials and new ways to design custom prosthetics for implant restorative dentistry, and always looking at ways to make this better. And with NobelProcera, we have over 30 years of experience in CAD/CAM, really starting this industry many, many years ago when we were dealing with just straight substructures at that time. We've come a long way, but we achieved this excellence through partnering with our leading precision engineering manufacturing of our prosthetics with precision fit, and really what goes into what we do. There's a lot of precision, a lot of manufacturing techniques that go into doing what we do that make NobelProcera restorations what they are. With our restorations, we do have a full product portfolio. We'll dive into that a little bit, but will include, of course, the implant bridges in zirconia and titanium, custom abutments, screw retained crowns, our titanium overdenture bars as well. And with these products, it will either be a lifetime or 10-year product warranty because our manufacturing process allows us to do this. So even if this is placed in the patient's mouth up to 10 years, we will replace that restoration. So with our manufacturing process with NobelProcera, we're able to do that. And now with the design capabilities with exocad, it really partners well to have unbelievable, excellent restorations. With our zirconia, multi-layered translucent zirconia, we'll talk about that a little bit, but we do look into our material choices very closely as well to adhere to all of our tight tolerances for strength for our restorations, not only aesthetics, but of course, strength. And with our custom abutment line, we can do those in both zirconia and titanium. So we can do full contour zirconia crown, which can be designed in different cutbacks, full contour, or really anything in between. And then, of course, our titanium abutments, which can be designed for a cement over crown as well. Our implant overdenture bars are available as well, where we design custom overdenture bars, both fixed and removable within the NobelProcera portfolio. But of course, our implant bridges, which has really been a flagship restoration of ours for a very long time, starting this in the industry quite a while ago. These are 100% cement-free. They do come with adapters. And our NobelProcera zirconia implant bridge is really the flagship product of our NobelProcera portfolio. Again, this bridge has really changed the game in many ways, which we'll talk about, but high aesthetics, high strength, and a lot now flexibility, which is built into this restoration. And Chuck's going to go through that exocad software we're here with you shortly to show you how we can now easily design these bridges. Now, one of the main advantages of the NobelProcera zirconia implant bridge is that we now have the ability to do the angulated screw channel, or ASC, on top of the multi-unit abutments within the NobelProcera zirconia implant bridge. So now we can achieve up to 55 degrees of restorative angulation with the bridge on the case. Now, that's not to say that we hope we're getting implants inclined at 55 degrees, of course, but we do have the freedom within the design in exocad now to bring those screw channels exactly where we need them to be for both strength and aesthetics of the case, and Chuck will share that with you. And also, now with this design, there is a 25% smaller access hole, which will add to overall strength of the bridge as well here. So nice flexibility there. Uh, the NobelProcera Zirconia implant bridge does come in 10 Vita shades. A little dated on this slide here, I apologize, but there are 10 Vita shades available. So that's going to be your regular Vita shades. So very, very easy there. Again, cement free. This is going to be with adapters that are screwed directly in to the zirconia. And there's a lot of flexibility in with design of the NobelProcera implant bridge. So we can support from 2-unit splint all the way up to 14 units and a full arch and up to 10 implants as well. So a lot of flexibility, a lot of freedom there as well. But as far as design, we have the ability to do traditional cutback designs, full contour frameworks, maybe for just light veneering or staining, thimble prep bridges where we can have individual crowns on this restoration, on this bridge for retrievability. And then, of course, any traditional frameworks or really anything in between. And that's really the power of the exocad software, where we can design all of these types of bridges very easily. We do have different avenues to reach us at NobelProcera, where you can send us your custom designs, of course, through our DTX Studio Lab software, our native exocad dental CAD software, which we're going to be showing here in just a few moments. And of course, we do have access to 3Shape as well, where you can directly send us these files. We also have our NobelProcera scan and design services. So if you're not utilizing exocad, 3Shape, or our DTX Studio Lab software, you do have the ability to send cases to us for certain products where we'll be able to provide scan and design services there as well. Just to touch on our quality with our NobelProcera restorations is a very, very important aspect of what we do at Nobel Biocare, specifically with NobelProcera. Our products are very thoroughly tested, whether it's fatigue analysis, studies, computer simulations, load gap analysis. We never will release a product onto the market without this full validation of studies and testing and science. And of course, that will be for all of our NobelProcera implant bridges, and they go through strict testing. Now, also, when we produce our NobelProcera Zirconia implant bridges, this is very, very high precision manufacturing that we do. This is not it shouldn't be compared to any type of lab milling. This is industrial manufacturing, and we're able to achieve a very, very high degree of accuracy with these bridges. We measure them with high-end Zeiss measuring equipment, where we can measure the implant seats to the incoming CAD file, and we can really achieve the accuracy that we need. And that's where we can offer those lifetime and 10-year product warranties, even within the patient's mouth, because of this strict tolerance with our manufacturing processes. Of course, all of our NobelProcera implant bridges and all of our NobelProcera products are certified medical devices. So we adhere to all the regulatory bodies across the world. Of course, the FDA being very important for us here, and the BSI. But we're always regularly audited through these organizations, and we do generally pass very, very high within that as well. You can always check the authenticity of any of your NobelProcera restorations right on our website. The restoration will come with a sticker, and you'll have a file number there. You can just pop that in, and you'll be able to verify that it is a authentic NobelProcera product. Before we jump over and start to get into more of the technology that's involved and then into the software, I just wanted to share with you some results that we can achieve with the NobelProcera implant bridge. This was a case done by a master ceramist, Sean Hahn. He's one of our KOLs at Nobel Biocare, a master's arch, and you can see what he does here with these zirconia bridges. He's a very, very talented ceramist, dental technician. So this was a case which you're going to see here shortly. This was designed in exocad. This is a NobelProcera full contour. We also have virtual gingiva implant bridge. And then you can see here clinically delivered, and you can see what you're able to achieve here. Just absolutely amazing results. So you're going to see how we're going to get to design these cases here shortly. Now, moving forward, if you'd like any additional resources, of course, all of our websites are available, and also, of course, all our official social media links are a great place to find information as well. And if anything that you see here today within the exocad software, we do have a dedicated section on our nobelbiocare.com, and you can navigate to there. And then under this section, for the lab section, we do have open access with exocad, and there's a series of videos here that you can play, and that will include a lot of the things that you will see here today in the presentation. So you can always refer to that at any time. And at this time, I'm just going to turn it over to Chuck.
All right. Thanks, Jeff. Well, hello, everybody. I'm Chuck Janko. I think I know some of you. If not, uh, I've been with Nobel Biocare for a couple of years now, and long, long lab history, and working in the full arch space. So this this program is actually going to be part of a series of programs we're doing on full arch on the digital all-on-4, and we really wanted to focus on today was the design aspect. I want to introduce you a little bit to what we're seeing with photogrammetry and how to integrate photogrammetry into your design software. And we kind of picked this as our starting point because this has really been the biggest gap. What we see in the digital workflow is it's easy to get equipment in an office. It's really difficult to get the laboratory support in some of these digital capabilities. So we want to help you help your customers. So that's what we're here as a resource for you. So I want to start off a little bit on photogrammetry from a high level. Right now, there's three systems in the market, and we anticipate next year at least 3 to 4 new ones to come out. And as Jeff said, we thoroughly test everything. So we've tested accuracy of these, and we can confidently say that we accept all photogrammetry inputs right now to produce the NobelProcera prosthetics. So whether it's from a PIC camera, a micron mapper, or an iMetric. Now, as you know, within the iOS systems, they all work, but all of them have little nuances, and it's the same with photogrammetry equipment. There's some little differences between them, but the outputs themselves shouldn't change. So some of the systems do an output of, this is a white cap. So if you don't know what a white cap is, it's a healing abutment that goes over a multi-unit abutment. And so some of the systems give you an output of a white cap that you can then go in and match. Now, one of the things with photogrammetry that you should be aware is once the implant positions are captured with photogrammetry, you cannot change the relationship between them. Okay, all you're going to be really changing is the relationship to the soft tissue, and I'll show you that as we go through. But now, one of the systems which I'm going to go through a little bit in more detail, which is the iMetric system, actually matches your soft tissue with the original coordinates, and I'll kind of show you that as well. But so that's really what we're looking at, is we're picking up the accuracy of the implant positions with photogrammetry, and then we are translating that to the digital scan intraorally so that we can have the proper tissue relationship. So I'm going to be jumping right into the weeds on some stuff. Feel free, if you have questions, put them in the chat. Jeff's going to be monitoring the chat, and we'll make sure that any of your questions are answered. This is your time, so I want to make sure that we cover everything that you'd like to know today. So when we get into the actual exocad design software, now, my guess with the number of people that are on this call, there's going to be several of you that are much more advanced than I am in designing. So I'll be going through some basic designs today. But those of you that are new to it or new to full arch designing, you might pick up a couple pearls here and there. I'm going to make some assumptions because this is an advanced group. My assumption is that you at least know how to do a single tooth implant, either abutment or implant crown, because when I start talking about matching and scan bodies and things like that, my assumption is that you're familiar with that terminology. So, I'm I'm very methodical in how I do things, probably to a fault if you ask some people that I've worked with. But I look at with a full arch design 4 distinct pillars on a full arch design, and once you understand each of these 4 pillars, I find it's much easier to work through. When I was starting out in full arch designing, I would always get confused on, what's the next step, or did I skip a step, or did too much work in one step. And those of you that remember your early days, or if you're in your early days, or you're just getting started, you'll know that as well. So the first pillar is this full anatomic, and I'm going to go through the software. I just wanted to kind of bring these things out to you. And the full anatomic is really where you're going to get your tooth selection and position. And this is really important. So this is where you're going to select your library. This is where you're going to position it on the arch. And you're really only working on the teeth themselves, okay, and how it relates. And I'll kind of go through that in the software. Then the second pillar is your gingival design. And then here's where, now what's nice when you're working in your gingival and tissue contouring, you're only working on the pink. So the teeth are solidified, and you're only moving the pink. So it really helps you get your pink where you want it quickly. Okay, and then the third pillar is the anatomic wax up. Now this is where it adapts the pink and the white together. And in this, now you can start working on it as a whole unit. And this comes in handy. This is where I do most of my real fine tuning and contouring, because you have a lot more control at this point. And then the fourth pillar is when you merge the parts together, and you adapt the implants to it. And I try not to do a lot of modifications in this stage. I just like to get it merged, maybe smooth out a few extra areas, but I try to do everything in the anatomic wax up, which I'll show you. So that's kind of the 4 pillars that I look at, and you'll see that as I go through the designing. Okay, so I'm going to go right into the design software here. I'm going to start though with a little bit on photogrammetry. I'll show you a case that I'll walk through using the photogrammetry data and pulling it into exocad. All right, so let me switch that out. So this is going to be an iMetric or an iCam case. Now, coming out of the camera, it's going to produce these 3 folders. So as a laboratory technician or designer, this is what you'll want to be looking for. Okay, so you have your iMetric folder, your exocad folder, and a 3Shape folder. For those 3Shape users out there, good luck. I've not had very good luck with 3Shape with this workflow. It becomes a little bumpy in my opinion, but there are some people that do use it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you 2 different methods on how we can use the iMetric iCam data or the photogrammetry data. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the iMetric folder, and you're going to see these documents, these text documents here. Okay, now these transformed points, these are each of the individual coordinates, and the one above it is all of them combined. So what I do is I'll take that transform point grouping, and I'm going to pull it into my software. Okay. And let me pull that into the screen here. All right, so these are now your coordinates. Now, as I mentioned, you can't change how the relationship from these are. Now, I like working with the coordinates. Actually, the coordinates are more accurate than STLs. Some of the other systems only give you an STL to STL comparison. This is the actual coordinates, and that's helpful for us. So once I have the coordinates, now I'm going to bring in my lower jaw scan. Okay, and that brings in the lower jaw scan. So we're going to be actually matching it in the software here. Okay, so here's my lower jaw scan. Now, this implant positioning button will start the process to match. So again, all we're doing is we're matching soft to the soft tissue. And you could see number 20 is lit up. That's where I'm going to start with the first one. And it gives me the option to use mesh to mesh alignment or a one-click option. Now, if I have a very clean scan like I do here, I'm going to select the one-click option. Okay, so I hit the position button. You can see the little red square, and that's where it wants me to click on. So I'm going to click on it, and that yellow means that we have a good position. So I'm going to hit the accept button there, and it goes right to the next one. We just go right around the horn. Hit accept. And accept. So now we've got them all positioned. We hit this green check mark. And then way over on this side is how we compute the transformation. So computing the transformation, this is for my engineering friends. They use this. This actually shows the difference between the scans, okay, and the discrepancies. And this is really good information to see how accurate your iOS scanning is versus your photogrammetry. Then we're going to apply that transformation. Now, when we apply that, it's like doing an analog repositioning. All right, so it's correcting the position. Okay. Now, at this point, we're done, except the fact that we don't have a library in our software to match a white cap. So in this scenario, what I'm going to do is change the geometry of the white cap, and I'll select an ELOS scan body. So now we have our ELOS scan bodies. All right. Now when this exports out, it's going to give me those ELOS scan bodies to match. Okay. So once I save that, that allows me to do that. Okay, I'm going to show you one other technique, because that technique I just showed you, you bring the scan bodies in, and then you have to go back and match like you normally would anyway. So you're actually matching it twice. So I'm going to show you a method that we've picked up that that you don't need to do that. In this case, we're actually going to start in the exocad. All right, and all right, so we're going to start our case. Now, because this is going to be a NobelProcera bridge, we're going to get out of the default exocad setting, And we're going to go into the Nobel Biocare dental share. If we were going to do local manufacturing, so if we were going to be making a prototype that we're going to print or mill locally in the lab or on a sprint ray in a doctor's office, we would stay in the default. All right, but since this is going to go to NobelProcera for manufacturing, we're going to be in that. Okay, so training, this is going to be Chuck. When you're in the Nobel software, it's always going to ask for your account ID, and we do zip code track as well. So you'll put that information in. Okay, then we're going to. So I do anatomic wax up. Here's our FCZ implant bridge. Screw retained. We will have a pre-op model. We are going to do a digital design, and we are going to use gingival. Hit OK. And with my control button, I just want to check one quick thing here. Okay. Now for our ponics, we'll do the same thing. We have a pre-op model. And I think I'll add second molar. Now, when we're in the Nobel workflows, it is going to ask us the scanner type. So we have other photogrammetry. We do have iMetric. This is an iMetric, so we're going to use the iMetric. And then we're going to save. Now, typically you would go right into your design, but we have not matched our photogrammetry yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open an Explorer, and it's going to give me the project file here. So I'm going to take that dental project folder and bring it into the software. And you can see now it's already brought in all the patient information in there, okay? So in the exocad folder, we have our transform points again. I'll bring those in. Now, in here, we're going to use ICAM bodies. Hit OK. And now our coordinates are in here again. All right. And then similar to what we did last time, I will bring my jaw scan in. And we're going to call this the implant model. Then I'm going to select use this mesh for export. And hit OK. So finish. Now I'm going to go right into that matching again. Same way we just did. And I am going through this a little bit quickly because you've already seen this stuff. And accept. Okay. Hit the check. And the same thing, we're going to do our compute transformation. We're going to apply that transformation. Now, the difference here is we don't have to change geometry. So watch what happens here. So when I hit the save button now, if I look now in my Explorer, all the files are now in my exocad. So when I hit design, oh, it's not going to let me pull over that window. All right. I have to, unfortunately, you can't see that window. So let me just bring everything in real quick. So it's asking for that lower pre-op scan. And which is my lower provisional. Now it's going to ask for my antagonist. And here's my design now. Okay, so you can see we don't have to do any matching. The matching was already done for us, which is nice. Now you can see now we have to get the relation together. Okay, and this is where the quality of your scans are really going to come into play here. All right, so so first thing I'm going to do is go into my expert mode. And I will get my pre-op matched up, okay? And so I'm going to go into Tools. I'm going to go to Align Meshes. Hit the manual button. Now, I cannot move. So we have a fixed mesh, okay, which is our jaw scan, because that relationship between all the components in the jaw scan, we don't want to move. So we're going to be able to just move one. Okay. All right. And now we're just going to go through and match like data like we would normally do. So we're going to automatic and just hit a couple of our key areas here. And perform that alignment and best fit. Now, typically what I'll always do is I hit the clear button, and I like to use the cut view. And I like to make sure that I have a perfect alignment, which you can see that's perfect. That is pretty darn perfect. And my anterior is also perfect. So my alignment is good. So I like that. Now, I have to get my bite in, so I'm going to go into Tools. Okay, I'm going to add Remove Mesh. And then I like to bring in my bites under General Visualization Mesh. And then I'll go in to align my meshes. And since my bite is these actual models, this should be a perfect match. It should turn dark blue, like so, which is perfect for me. All right. And then I will go ahead and align my antagonist next. So Jeff, while I'm doing this, any questions that coming up?
Not seeing any right now. So I think they're paying some great attention to what you're doing here, Chuck.
All right. I know I'm going through things quickly, so if I have any questions, please ask away. Okay. So we've got complete alignment now on everything. So from here, I can go back into my wizard. Today, we're not going to use the Smile Creator. I will go through Smile Creator in a future program where you can see how to bring photos in, 3D scanning, face scanning, anything like that. Okay, emergence profile. I skip by this. Okay, so when I set my teeth, I typically use my pre-op as a guide. And I will line up my distal marginal ridge on both sides. Then I hit that red dot. Then when I bring in my premolars, things start to take shape. Now, by holding the control button down, I can move things around. And what I'm going to be doing here is just kind of getting close. Okay, because we'll be able to do some fine tuning down the road here. And I've seen some of our experts that are really gifted in this area. And so I would say, based on what I've seen some people do, get real good at working in this mode. And so this gives you lots of flexibility here to to get your teeth in a pretty decent position. All right, you can also go into your simple mode and do everything individually. And again, the goal here is to get your teeth in just a general position in your arch form. If I hit the shift button, I can actually make them grow or shrink. So it gives you a lot of flexibility here, okay? And just for the sake of time today, I'm going to do this very basic. Turn off my analogs. And all right. Okay, so you can see I'm starting to take some shape. I've got some decent contacts. Now, some of the advanced features you can do more pointed or you can do more flat, okay? I tend to use the flat a little bit more. I find these patients going through this therapy, the less interference is the better. And all right. Okay, just for time's sake, I'm going to keep going here. So now I just follow the wizard. Now, the abutment bottoms, this is important for our ASC, okay? So in the advanced tab, you'll see a clickable and a draggable, okay? I like the draggable option. And what I'll do is I'm able to change up to 25 degrees of extra angulation. So I can get my cingulums if I want it on the cingulum, if I want to pull this back. And I'm an ASC fanatic. I use ASC on everything. Okay. Now you can see we've got a little bit of a challenge on this one. So I may want to play with that to see where it's going to be the most ideal position for this one. And I may come back on that after I put the pink on. You can always come back later in the process. So in this case, I'll stop it about there for now and see where I'm at later. Okay, so that's our abutment bottoms with our ASC. It's a nice feature that we have out there. Okay, now you have several free-forming opportunities. So I don't do free-forming at this point, okay? I typically am going to do my free-forming in the anatomic. So I'm just going to skip this. And this gives you the option if you wanted to adapt it to the model. Okay, your wax bottom. Okay, this is how your model is going to get blocked out. Okay, so I'm just going to rotate it just slightly there, set the insert direction, hit apply. And it's going to give me a wax bottom. Like so. Okay, so the gingival, I'm going to select one gingival for all neighboring teeth. It does give you the option if you wanted to only have gingival on certain segments. But in this case, in most cases, it's going to be one solid gingival. And now we have our gingival in there. So hit next. It gives me the freeform gingival design. And this is where if you've ever been a denture waxer, this is where you get to thrive. This is basically putting wax where you want it. Okay, so I use this large region. I cover the necks of the teeth. And then I go to the small region and I'll pull up my papillas. Like so. And starting to take some shape now. All right, and then in the free form, okay, it's got a really nice swath that you can add some wax. And since I was an analog denture tech for a long time, I like to add and take away. All right, then I go into my smooth flatten. Now at this point, I'm not really worrying about gingival anatomy. I'm just trying to get a volume of wax because I will do the fine tuning in the next step. Okay, so that's all I'm worried about here. Last thing I'll do is I'll go back into my small region, and I want to make sure I have my symmetry. It's a lot easier to do it here than later. Okay, so when I hit next, so now it's going to hit the third pillar that we talked about in the beginning here. And the third pillar is our anatomic wax up. Anatomic wax up is really where all the little fine tuning is going to happen, because what's happening now is it's calculating the wax up. So it's going to adapt the teeth to that gingival nicely for us. And this is where you test the speed of your computer. Sometimes on slow computers, this can take a little while. Double arches are computing a lot of data. So now, one of the questions I get quite often in the beginning, I don't add connectors to the teeth. The gingival becomes the connector. If you're not going to be doing gingival, if it's an FP1 style, then you would need to add connectors. All right. But in a hybrid style, the gingival becomes the connector for you. All right, just about done here. It's working overtime here. Sorry, guys. Okay, so now it gives us another free form, but now the free form is everything together. This is where I will do a lot of my detail work at this point. So this is where we will start working on our intaglio. And I like to be very particular on no concavities. All right, just got to be cautious that you can easily blow away your anatomy if you're not careful. And just for time's sake, so I'm just going to do a small area here. And by turning your jaw scan on, you can get a good idea of how much pressure you have in your tissue, and you can control that. All right. The other thing I will do at this point is I'll also, in the anatomic, I'll start really dialing in my occlusion. So I like to have my occlusion in real specific areas so I can adjust it accordingly. And I know we're coming up on the top of the hour, so I'm not going to do the whole arch, but I'm just going to show you. Okay, so I would normally just do that to everything around. You can really go in and
Chuck, as you're doing that, we did have a question that did come in if this will be available afterwards recorded, and the answer is yes. So all participants that are on the webinar today will receive a link for the on-demand video where you'll be able to watch that on demand.
Thanks, Jeff. So I would do that all the way around, and once I hit the next button, it's going to prompt me for the screw access holes, which I typically don't do anything on this, and merge and save. Now, when you're in the Nobel workflow and you're going to be submitting to Nobel for manufacturing, we make it very, very simple for you. So once it saves the data, and you select I'm done, and you hit your next button, now you're back into your main page. You go right into your dental share, where you're going to hit production. It's already NobelProcera production data. And once you hit OK, it automatically sends that case to Nobel production. So you don't have to save out any files. You don't have to any fancy double entry. You just hit your OK, and it automatically submits the case to Nobel Biocare for production. So I know I went through that fast. I went over a couple minutes, but I will be here for a few extra minutes if anybody has any questions, or if you need to get a hold of me or Jeff, feel free to contact us directly. We'd be happy to do any additional training as necessary. But it's a really quick way to go through how to do a full arch design. Again, if you keep in mind those 4 pillars that I talked about, you'll get through the design pretty quickly. So if no additional questions, I want to thank everybody for attending. And Jeff, do you have any final comments on your side?
No, thank you so much, everyone, for attending. Thank you, Chuck. And after this webinar concludes, there will be a link sent out to all participants with the on-demand link where you can watch this at your leisure. So we do very much appreciate your attention. If you have any questions or would like any further information, as Chuck said, please feel reach out to us. Also, your local representatives for Nobel Biocare in your area will also be happy to assist you. Thanks so much for your attention today. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.